don't know. I just hate it. I had gave him a little job Christmas. He put all the kids' toys together because he used to work at different sporting goods stores, putting up the basketball goal. He good at putting stuff together. And then I walked him back there. He came for Thanksgiving, and got a plate of food. He came with his girlfriend, and I took him back to the closet. I gave him a pair, cause we were the same shoe size. I gave him a pair. I had a pair of Louboutins. He just kept complimenting them damn shoes. He was crazy about the shoe. I said, just take them, Ryan. I only wore them like 1 or 2 times on stage. So I gave him those. I gave him some clothes or whatever. Because, you know, he one of them nephews that be trying to cop your style. So you give him some little cologne. I had the little cologne and stuff. I used to spray in the little. I always keep them little bottles for so when my son come home, the nephews come over, they be liking the different colognes. I can put them some and give them a little.
Yeah.
And then he came the last time, one of the last times I saw him, he came over there. I had did some seafood. I said, hey man, take Uncle Herbert. I said, all that, he thought it was all his. I said, hey, half of that's for Uncle Herbert. I said, go by Uncle Herbert's house and take him half of that seafood that I had cooked. I had made this big seafood broth. Coincidentally, him and Uncle Herbert died the same week. And that was one of the last times I saw Ron, when he was going over Uncle Herbert's house to take Uncle Herbert the food. And they in 2 funeral homes around the corner from each other. I left one funeral home to go to the next funeral home. And I said, last time I saw Ron was, hey, take Uncle Herbert these, you know, and I cashed him on his birthday. I was at Miss Janie's house, and he saw me on Facebook Live one of his birthdays, and he came by there, and I hit him up. I gave him like $300 cash up. He was smiling, he was happy, excited. We was on Messenger all the time. Then I had got him a little job down in Miami, and he was set to go. He was hired. Had got him a plane ticket. They had got him a bicycle. They had found him a roommate. He was gonna be working down there with my friend Ivan. I still got the message. I still got the letter. And it never. And he died. Never made it. He died. And I just remember going to the funeral home. I was like, man, why? I didn't even cry that day. I was just at peace. He was in there by himself, and I just stood up and just had my moment, and I just sat there for about 10 minutes, and then I just got up and left, and then I went around the corner, right around the corner to another funeral home, walking distance, and that was Uncle Herbert, because Uncle Herbert used to keep Ron. I had custody of Ron. He was a great kid. And I was raising him with Brandon. You know, I had custody of Brandon, and I was raising them together. And Uncle Herbert, when I would have to do shows, Uncle Herbert would keep my kids for me. And I it was real close to Uncle Herbert as well. And he was a great kid. Just you know, that was one of the reasons why I was trying to get him. But no matter whether he went to Miami, no matter where he went, addiction is addiction. And if that's what he was into, if it didn't happen there, it would have eventually happened if that's the life he was living. Because moving to another city don't stop anything. So it ain't nobody's fault, you know. It's just something that we have to live with. And the same thing with my niece, Micah. You know, she went to the Bahamas with us, and 3 weeks later, she took a pill, and 2 of her friends was found dead in an apartment. They had another roommate that came down the stairs that pretty much thought they were asleep. She came down there and saw everybody and thought they were sleeping. She went on to work.
Oh my God.
And yeah, my uncle Greg and my aunt Nisa, they had to go to a morgue and identify the body, and then they went straight to church, and he had to preach that morning, and he preached. Yeah, that was a real tough time, and that was in between June and August. Yeah, all around the same time. Can't remember when, I think Ron died first, and then Micah died. Yep. Yeah, so I got another nephew. They kind of got out there, but you know, sometimes you have to give them some years and let them get through them stupid 20s Because they don't do everything that you want them to do, but sometimes when what they do affect you, you have to kind of cut them loose and give them their space and let them go and live life. And then it seems like some of them, if they don't die or go to jail, seem like they settle down. So now my nephew got a son, he out in Phoenix that I had custody of. Seems like he settled down and he's in a good space. He hit me up on Father's Day, you know, apologizing for everything. And we just been texting back and forth, communicating and trying to make some plans. Me and Grayson probably gonna eventually go out there to Phoenix to visit and stuff like that. So you just pray for their safety.
Yeah.
And you have to take your attention off the ones and focus on the one that's buying what you're teaching, because you got nieces and nephews that's eating up everything you're saying.
Right.
That's buying what you're teaching. And you got to put all your energy and focus into them. And sometimes you have to let them go and hope and pray God and give them over, like your grandmama say, turn them over to the hands of the Lord and give them to God and let and hope that God protect them and keep them. But sometimes, you know, either they go to jail or either they die. You know, and both of them was good kids. You know, and the crazy thing about it, and they were always respectful. They never disrespect me. But then you got some that's really, really disrespectful and call y'all kind of letting to talk to you any kind of way that you raised, and they still live. Not saying that they should die,
Right.
but Micah and Ron was very kind, caring, respectful, and thoughtful. And it just seems like those be the ones that the worst things happen to. And then the ones that go through stuff that's assholes, like Donald Trump, like me especially can't be joking about that, live forever. Not that you hope that they die, you hope that none of them die.
Right.
But man, it's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow. You sit up there, a kid that I've been picking up since he was a baby and had custody of and pretty much raised, laying in a casket.
Yeah.
If I had extra gray on my beard after that weekend, I didn't even, you know, when Uncle Herbert died, I went to Uncle Herbert. I always get there when the body get there. And I never leave until they lower the casket in the ground.
Wow.
My grandfather taught me that. I be standing there like a soldier with Uncle Jesse, my dad that died this year, my sister's dad, but our dad. I be standing right there like a soldier when that hearse pull up. I see it all with Uncle Blue and Uncle Herbert, my granddaddy. I was there before the body got there. I get there to that church early. I make sure everything running. I saw my granddad do this at my dad's funeral. Stand there at the door and greet every single, I'll never get there and march in with the family. I stand there and thank people for coming, for supporting your family. I couldn't understand why my granddad was walking around my dad's funeral. And finally he sat down, but I was sitting in the back of Uncle Herbert's funeral. I couldn't go to Ron's funeral because the funeral was at the same time.
Oh, Lord.
So I couldn't go, so I had to go to the funeral home. I was sitting in the back of the church because I got some family members that I absolutely hate. Hate is a strong word, but I got about 4 motherfuckers that I won't go nowhere near or I'll be in jail. Yeah, I got something I feel that way about, so I don't go near them.
Yeah.
Man, I sat in the back of the church, man. When I saw them funeral directors walk down that aisle to close that casket, man, I was sitting in the back of that church. And I just sat up I always sit in the sound booth when I have to, when those family situations, I always sit in the sound booth. I don't be nowhere near them. And I leave before they go out because I'm not good at being around people I don't like. You know what I'm saying? I go in the opposite direction. I run. Because I don't know how to be fake and all that. Man, I let out a cry that I ain't cried like that in a long time. And my Uncle Herbert was my dad's best friend. My Uncle Herbert and my dad went to Vietnam together. They graduated high school together the same year. So when my dad died, my Uncle Herbert stepped up.
Right.
Coincidentally, my Uncle Herbert and my sister's dad became friends. So they used to pick me up from school and take me fishing. So with my sister's dad and my Uncle Herbert, both of them same a year apart. So as a man, you know, when you get 50, you just see a lot of stuff. But that's why I live my life to the fullest. I'm on a boat, I'm on a plane, I'm with the grandkids. Let's go, let's have a good time, let's do this.
Yeah.
And you know, hopefully that I leave the same impact on.
Teaser with K.
But I just hope people that don't die unnecessarily. And take your vitamin D because it fights cancer. 5,000 international units. Special K, what you got coming up next? But take your vitamin D every day. 5,000 international units of vitamin D every day. All these black folks dying of cancer.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily have to die. Take your vitamin D every day for the rest of your life. Every day. 5,000 international. Let me see. I might have some. I got them upstairs in the office, but take them vitamins every day. A lot of people died because they didn't have the information that we have. You got everything in your phone.
Yeah.
You got a whole encyclopedia, a whole library. Right here. Google it. Boom. Got everything you need.
Yeah.
So, you know, people just don't have to die. And I hate that they died because they was only 70, in their 70s.
Wow.
So, with all that stuff, could still jump up and get on the radio and be funny. That's why in comedy you have a happy face
Yep.
and you have a sad face. Just take a good look at my face. You see my smile looks out of place. The tears of a clown. Yeah, that's real.